Hello everyone, how you guys doing? Prince Adu-Appiah here, and I'm excited you're joining this episode. Today, we are heading to the UK. Originally from Ghana, Lois Damptey is a PhD candidate at the Open University UK in the Materials Engineering Department, currently investigating the use of low-cost photocatalytic materials for wastewater treatment in Ghana, GCRF Funded. She is the founder of Dear Young Graduate, an initiative created to help students from developing countries access further education through scholarships. She's also the director of Sankofa Mentorship Hub at the Synergies Institute, Ghana, and the secretary for Vacation Initiatives in Science Africa. Both NGOs actively focus on the use of innovative and fun activities to advocate for STEM education. Lois has been listed as one of 74 Ghanaians who inspire Ghana. She has been a recipient of many major scholarships in her academic career journey, which includes the Royal Academy of Engineering X Project Award STEM for Africa Project, the Global Challenges Research Fund, the Leverhulme Royal Society African Award, Robert Bosch Stiftung Award winner for Young African Researchers, among many others. Stay tuned and be inspired by our conversation today. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe. This is your big leadership lesson. Lois, thank you so much for being on the show. You happen to be a STEM champion, and that is one of the most inspiring things about you. You are a very goal-oriented person. You have achieved tremendous academic success. And I particularly wanted to get you on the show because I believe your story is going to inspire so many young people, especially young girls from all corners on the continent. So thank you so much for being on the show, Lois.
Thank you so much, Prince, for having me. It's amazing, and I've always looked up to you in various ways on how you solve problems, and it has always gingered me. And I was ready and super excited to be part of this podcast. Good job. Yeah.
Great. That is mutual then. So to start with, I mean, it amazes me how I don't know how you started the Sankofa Mentorship Hub, which is in liaison with the Synergies Institute, I understand. I don't know how you were leading this particular group of a pool of volunteers in Ghana whilst you are miles away somewhere in the UK. And I don't know how you gathered the momentum as well to champion the Dear Young Graduate initiative that shares scholarship opportunities to so many students and potential, graduates, as well as your work with Vacation Institutes in Science Africa. I don't know how you do all these things, but that brings me to my first question. Where did it all begin for you? What is your leadership story? Please tell us about it.
Thank you so much for the question, Prince. I've always said that I'm an agent of change. So anything or wherever I find myself, I want there to be a change. And I believe in change as a gradual process over time. Now, a progress of change, you can measure it with a measure of time. So something will be sustainably making impact in someone's time when it has gone through the phases of life and still stands the way it is. So I've always seen myself as that agent. Now, how did Sankofa Mentorship Hub started? So I have been an academic for a while. I've had the opportunity to work in various laboratories in the UK, somewhere in France, as well as other countries. And I realized a niche by which a lot of our academic research work end on the laboratories. It either ends in a book on a shelf and gathers some dust. And I felt like these are great research stories. These are great work that goes in impacting lives. So why doesn't these kind of works move away from being on the shelves to impact life? And I feel like a lot of scientists find that struggle between how our research work can directly affect lives. So I felt like being able to channel this cause in leading future leaders from the bottom ground onto the upper stage will have strong agents of change starting from the lower level to the higher level. So I realized that how do we start with the lower level children? Now they find science and all these research abstracts to them. So how can we use ways to be able to propagate or speak the science and these research stories to them for them to appreciate it more? So I started this mentorship hub to be able to mentor these young ones, and specifically starting from junior high school through to the senior high school and university student, to be able to engage them in our scientific stories, in our research stories, using ways that they can best understand. And who knows, this will be great researchers someday to cause agents of change. Now, this doesn't climax there. I feel like everybody needs an international exposure because you would be able to view things from different perspectives if you're open or open to different worlds at the same time. And when I mean international, I'm not meaning all the developed countries, like anywhere beyond your scope. Now, how would you not be fit into a box? Is by opening up yourself to other boxes and being able to come back to the same box and seeing that you still fit in there. So seeing things from different perspectives gives you a wider knowledge of how to solve problems, because I mean, COVID has been thought as how global this world is. So it would be good to see how the other side of the mirror looks like. So I created Dear Young Graduate initiatives that see, the time for being able to further your education or being able to be agents of change somewhere when you do not have capacity in terms of monetary funds should end. So I said, I've seen great potential of people who would want to further their education. And with that furthering education, where they'll be able to engage in research and development in their home country, not being able to harness this opportunity because of monetary funds. And I have been a recipient of numerous amounts of scholarships that have helped me impact my world back there as an agent of change. So I'm propagating that message to people that you can continue or further your education to be that agent of change that you want to be without having monetary funds as a problem. And I think SDG 4 goals highlights specifically on target 1 as being able to have accessibility to higher education through scholarships. And I think that one of the regions of one of the places that people really need is our developing countries and underdeveloping other countries to be able to have accessibility to these things. Then we can reach that goal. Yeah, so I created Dear Young Graduate Initiative.
Wow. I totally love it, and as you were speaking, I wanted to interject with some questions, but I was just loving the flow. Please hold on a bit. The way you were communicating depict to me the fact that you're not just sharing these opportunities for sharing's sake. You're passionate about it. You were speaking with passion. In fact, you said something very important, how the research work. I mean, we've all written paper, done some bit of research before, I remember in school, and I believe all these things are in the shelves. You spoke about the fact that how our research work can directly affect lives, and that is what drives you. I want to go deeper. What is fueling this passion? Why is Lois not going like, okay, hey guys, I have great opportunities. Thank God, let me just sit somewhere and continue climbing the academic ladder. What is causing you to say, look, hold on, let me stretch my hand down and then pull others up? Yeah. And not just with Dear Young Graduate, but even with Sankofa Mentorship Hub, I have had the opportunity to work with you hand in hand on a partnership 1 Billion Africa Project STEM for Africa. And I see the passion with which you and your team work. I believe there is a root cause to this. Kindly tell us about that.
I mean, anytime I'm led to answer a question like this, sometimes I really find lack of words to be able to explain passion. But like I said in the earlier on, I believe strongly that I am an agent of change. So wherever I am, I want to effect change, irrespective of the mode that I use. So one of the medium I have got is my academic laurels, and how would that academic laurels help to impact life? And I think that's what drives me day and night, even when I put my head to bed. And I think that passion communicates much better than talent. So if my supervisor, who is a PhD supervisor, hasn't gotten a student who has done any other thing apart from their PhD research, is much involved in what I'm doing, he sees that this person has a potential to be able to link both worlds, which is the academic world, to the world or the world, at large. So I believe that I also find people with that same passion, and they're able to carry that initiative that Sankofa Mentorship Hub does and carry it on if I'm not there. And that is one of the key things that matter to me. I get a lot of people approaching me on wanting to volunteer and stuff, but I realize that I can easily read passion in an individual, and it tells. Over time, if you work with such a person, you realize that those who carry the vision with you are able to carry it on like their own, even if they are not in communication with you. They know what you would want and how you would want it to be. So with answering the part of the question where I am away and things are running, these are people I have identified over time, a period of 3 years, doing consistently the same thing over time and producing results. And so if I'm away, I am confident that this work is moving when I'm not available. And I think that in every institution, before anything else, passion needs to be developed, because it will help you overlook a lot of circumstances or things that happen in the workplace or in your community of space that can hinder a work from going on. But when passion underlines a particular goal, it can be achieved irrespective of the differences that happen.
Passion right there. You said something very profound. You said passion communicates much better than talent. And that calls for some brooding, some meditation time on it, right? Thank you so much for sharing your leadership story with us. I want us to proceed to the big question. I believe that in all these journeys that you have shared with us, you have talked some or come across some lessons that you believe can be beneficial to others. So kindly tell us, what are some of the big leadership lessons that you have come across along your journey?
Yeah, I think one of the foremost one is treat others like you want to be treated. And I think that being able to, that has helped in my communication aspects as much as possible, because I'm dealing with different people from different portfolios of life. And so with the way I want to be treated, I'm able to extend that hand onto other people, and we are able to effectively work together. Now you realize that I am a very free to go person when it comes to my terms of leadership. But I realized that some level of how to do things managerially is lacking on my side. So I've got somebody on the team that is able to handle projects in a managerial way, in terms of how to document stuff, how to enable set up meetings, how to set up emails, and be able to effectively manage everything. I cannot do it all by myself. So they are like, that person is sort of like my right hand in executing that role. Now I have some foreknowledge in finance, but I'm not a champion in it. So I've got somebody who is passionate, who can handle the finance aspect and tell us how we can maximize our projects with minimum finances. So you see, treating others the way you want to be treated, acknowledging also that you cannot do it all by yourself and you will need other people, is also very key. And it's helped in effectively, moving our project even when I'm away. So I think one of my biggest lessons in leadership is that way. And the other one is collaboration. Now, what one person could do as a team will differ in terms of output when you have other partners executing to achieve a goal. So I believe that instead of loading everything onto your side, you can execute it when you have different people with different focuses doing the same thing, but achieving a particular goal. Now we can reach 2,000, 3,000 people at a time in that manner of time and space than if one individual was doing it and reaching a 50. And as agents of change, we are trying to change, as you always say, one continent at a time, or one country at a time, or one individual at a time. So that's another collaboration. And I think that you will bear with me that Sustainable Development Goal, I think the last one talks about partnerships for goals. And I'm a biggie on that aspect of it as well. And I think that also being able to acknowledge everybody's perspective is very important, because as a leader, sometimes you tend to feel like how you want it to be is how you want it to go. But if you are able to appreciate other perspectives on how things should go in that particular forum, and being able to openly brainstorm that person's perspective, it will help in achieving that particular goal. We shouldn't lose ourselves to be able to, it brings a level of some form of dictatorship if you want it to be done your way and not appreciating other people's perspectives. If you see everybody just like yourself, you will believe that they also carry value like you. And if we can all bring that value together to be able to move that particular goal to be achieved.
Amazing. So I can count about 3 or 4 things that you have shared. Very, very, very deep stuff.
I didn't even realize I shared like 3 or 4 things.
Yes. So treat others like you would want to be treated, and you gave the example, a personal example with respect to others complementing your skills within the same organization. Some years back, I heard of a story by one of my mentors who I think he was speaking about President Ronald Reagan of the United States. Either Ronald Reagan or someone else, but I understand that he had an entertainment background, the president. And so one time he was asked by a journalist or so what his secret was. And he said, my secret is that I stuff my weakness. I stuff, STAFF, my weakness. So where I'm not good, where I'm not the best, I bring somebody in. So that's exactly what you shared. Yeah. It's amazing, and you have to acknowledge you cannot do it all by yourself. It's great. Collaboration. You mentioned collaboration, which is the way to go. Sustainable Development Goal 17. So if you are a youth listening to us right now, you can't be a lone ranger. In whatever you're doing, whether running an entrepreneurship project or a social impact program or project, try to collaborate with others. Work in teams. And you mentioned about acknowledging perspective.
Yeah.
That is brilliant. In my strategic leadership class, the graduate school, we were discussing the qualities of a global leader.
Yeah.
And one of the things mentioned was tolerance or acknowledging perspectives.
Yeah, I think that being able to acknowledge perspectives is one of the most difficult things to do without adding emotions, because in every situation we tend to believe we are right. Now, being able to acknowledge other person's rightfulness is quite difficult without adding emotions. Typical example, there is a situation at hand. I believe that going this way is the right thing to do. Case closed. Now, someone is saying that I think that if we go through A and B, it would yield much better results. But because we tend to feel that strongly with our passion, it's this A is the right way to go. To be able to lay down your guard and accept the A plus B takes a lot and a lot of, thinking through. But you realize that because the other person sees the other part of the mirror, aside all things, that would be the effective way to go. So I think that's one of the biggest things we need to, even in terms of debate and speaking up for people, if we are able to, acknowledge perspectives, it goes a very higher way. Now, that's why there's always presidential debates. Now, take away all political affiliations and listen to perspectives and see how the perspectives play a bigger role. And I think that's one of the things that Africans or Ghanaian youth, we need to listen and put all other affiliations or guard or emotions or anything that we hold on tight to and listen to perspectives as much as possible. Yeah.
I totally agree. We need to embrace different perspectives. And you mentioned the fact that, sometimes we want to hold on to our views and think that is the only way forward. As leaders, that happens to be one of our challenges, the ego. The ego, separating emotions from the meat of the matter.
Yeah.
So it is very it is very important. I'm currently reading a book called titled Dare to Lead by Renee Brown, and she is teaching me so much that vulnerability is a huge plus.
Yeah.
Vulnerability. Sometimes we tend to think as leaders, hey, once I let us go. Once I go or I side with that other view, I'm showing that I'm weak. No, not at all. It's the big picture that we have to look at.
You'll be amazed the amount of information you will grasp onto if you show vulnerability to other people's perspective. You will feel that banging. I haven't heard that before. Than rather than holding on clinging to your perspective. Yeah.
Right. So listeners, if you want to be a global leader like our STEM champion here, Lois, you want to hold on to or embrace perspectives. Perspectives. So Lois, I'm enjoying this, but we have to jump to our very last part of this discussion. Do you have any last words for a listener out there? Anything on your heart that you want to leave us with?
Yeah, I believe, I'll just thank everybody for listening. And if you're an African youth here, nothing is beyond your capability. Now, there's a bigger world we are all aiming to, reach. And so think beyond your scope. Now, in thinking beyond your scope, you might want to put some few things down in terms of whatever you're doing and how to be able to achieve it. Now, I always say that consistency is key because somebody might have started off a year ago and stopped at the very peak when that thing was about to flourish. And somebody maintained doing something over a period of time. And at that very moment, when he kept on pushing, irrespective of what was drawing the person back, he started flourishing. So if you've started off something new, you are losing hope, trying to give up because it's not working. Go back, re-strategize, and keep on doing it. And always think that at the very point you are just about to end it or stop it or giving up, that is the very point that is about to succeed. So do not be dismayed, irrespective of what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing with passion and focus. It's like looking at a particular lamp at the end of the tunnel. You're hoping to achieve it. Irrespective of whoever brings you, holds you back, brings you down, you fall tight, keep moving, and hoping to touch that light at the end of the tunnel. And at the end of the day, come right back at the end of this podcast and say that I was able to achieve what I did over a period of 5 years.
Right. Come back to this podcast and tell us you were able to achieve this over a long period. Think beyond your scope. Thank you so much, Lois, our STEM champion, for being on the show today. We truly appreciate this discussion.
And thank you so much, Prince, for having me. And like I always say, you have been a great beacon of excellence with what you're doing with 1 Billion Africa. And there's so much to learn from you. And I believe that it's a global picture and we are achieving it one step at a time. And I'm happy to be part of this story.
Thank you, Lois. Thank you, Lois. It was great having you on the show. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I hope you did enjoy this episode. I hope you were informed and inspired. If you would love to hear more, don't forget to subscribe and share this across your network. Until we meet again, stay safe, stay inspired.